I pushed the front door open, blinking in the light. I glanced around, but didn't see Elliot in the immediate vicinity. Maybe on the steps around the corner? I quietly headed that way, hoping I found him quickly. I really could have used his vampire sixth sense right about then. I could always wait and talk to him when I get home. It's not like he can hide from me when I know where he lives. Ugh, that made me sound like a stalker, though. And besides, I didn't want to wait. I needed to talk to him now. I stopped when I heard voices coming from the exact spot where I'd been heading. Elliot? And maybe Danny? I drew closer but realized almost immediately it wasn't them. If it's my brother again, I swear. Thanks for talking out here.
Well, it's fine. I imagine we'd be more likely to get interrupted in my office anyway. Out here is better for this.
I immediately recognized one of those voices. That was Spencer. The other voice was deeper but familiar, Grant Mitchell. So Spencer has been talking to him. That was shocking, frankly. Spencer really did hate psychologists, and Grant was not that subtle. I couldn't believe Spencer had fallen for that I'm your buddy crap school counselors always tried to pull. Vampire suggestion? But what were they talking about? I hesitated, a part of me feeling like I should go back inside while the other part was screaming that I needed to find out what those two were up to.
Anyway, based on what you said, it seems like the situation at home is escalating.
Situation at home? Wait, was Spencer really getting advice about that? I did record her this time, like you suggested. What? Record me? He was recording me? They were both silent for a minute, and I carefully made my way behind the shrubs lining the wall so I could creep a bit closer without being seen.
I see what you mean about the hair.
She does change. But does that mean that both Mark and Elliot are just not telling her that her entire body changes? That happens a lot.
Good job capturing this. It's the exact kind of evidence I've been looking for. With a few clips like this, I'll be able to blow the cover off their entire club.
Blow the... Oh my god, seriously? I was torn between laughing and slamming my head into the bricks repeatedly. He was gathering evidence about the club. How very Sherlock of him. Wasn't sure what was going to happen when he blew the cover off everything. I assumed he'd get his memory erased or something. I don't care about that. I don't care about blowing anyone's cover. If you want to try to blow the cover off of some conspiracy, fine. I just want my real sister back. That again.
I know. And we'll find her. But look, you're not the only one to lose someone to this. I lost someone to people like them too.
The plot thickens.
And the rest of them just covered it up like nothing happened.
I narrowed my eyes, wondering what the heck that was about.
I just want justice for everyone. And that includes your real sister.
Are they serious? Grant was gathering evidence on club members and Spencer was helping. That was just insane. Well, I mean, under the circumstances, it actually wasn't that insane. It wasn't like there wasn't really a sort of conspiracy to be uncovered. Wasn't sure about all that junk about justice, though. The part about me not being Spencer's sister. Ugh. I wasn't even sure about that anymore either. But no matter what I was to him, to me, he was just my brother. My stupid brother. That I needed to strangle, but still my brother. But first, I needed to decide what to do about what I just heard. So what next?
Just keep watching her, following her around. I'll do the same for the others. We're close.
What about the murders out in the woods? She keeps going out at night.
For all you know, she's involved in those.
That could be true. What? He really thought I was capable of killing people? The only murder I'm about to commit is when I strangle him. Oh, this is a tough one. I was coming out... I've completely lost my focus, which was to assure my crying boy that I don't hate his guts. And now I've been distracted again. I mean, if I go off the logic of the correct answer when Spencer was talking to Elliot was to just be there and not hide, then logic would dictate to me that I should not hide again. I should just be, like, really brazen about it. It seems nuts, but like, if it was me, I don't know I would necessarily do this. I probably would do this, but then that would just, like, really up the suspicion meter. I'm hoping, too, that maybe if I interrupt them, the evidence of the recording won't make it to Grant's hands somehow. Like, maybe the exchange hasn't happened yet. We can stop that from happening. I don't know. It's risky biscuits. I'm gonna risk the biscuit. The very first thing I was going to have to do was interrupt their stupid conversation. If Spencer wanted to think I wasn't his sister, fine. I couldn't help that. But he did not get to assume I was a murderer. I backtracked out of the shrubs toward the door, trying to avoid making any noise. I took a deep breath, then... Elliot! Elliot, are you out here? Sorry, Elliot. He was going to have to be my excuse for now. Elliot, no! Well, hello, Granty boy. Almost instantly, Grant's head popped around the corner. I looked up at him with mock surprise. Shocked Pikachu. Oh! Hey. Have you seen Elliot Damiani come through here? Grant raised an eyebrow.
Students aren't allowed out here during lunch. You should know that.
Yeah, but he was upset, and I think he may have come through here. I felt kind of gross using that as an excuse when he was upset because of me. But this was important. Well, hello, student. Spencer stepped around the corner at that moment, and our eyes met. Besides, looks like some students get to be out here during lunch.
Spencer's out here with me, a teacher.
Whew, that's good. It'd be worrying if he was out here with someone shady, talking about shady things or something. Could you be a little more on the nose? I mentally kicked myself for that when I saw the look on Grant's face. Anyway, sorry to bug you. I'll go check inside.
Spencer, why don't you head in as well? We can meet in my office later if we need to talk more.
Spencer gave him a curt nod and hurried past me back inside. I rolled my eyes after him as he deliberately shut the door behind him. I pulled it open, but Grant put his arm across the door, stopping me.
I hope you weren't eavesdropping on our conversation, Nora.
I shot him an innocent smile as I ducked under his arm. Of course not. The only people who spy on others without their knowledge are shady losers. I'd never do that. I think the gauntlet has been thrown down. I think we all know that each other knows about the knowing of the knows. We all know. Everyone knows. I trotted off down the hall, trying to decide what to do next. I heard Grant come in behind me, then disappear into the office. Ahead of me, Spencer was walking a bit more slowly, and I made the split-second decision to catch up to him and grab his arm. Hey, let's talk. Spencer wasn't keen on following me, but I didn't let him go. If he even thought about fighting back, I was not above tackling him to the ground and sitting on him until he submitted. I might have been smaller than him, but I had some very righteous anger on my side at that moment. He didn't start fighting me until we got well inside the side hallway. Prying my fingers off his arm, he yanked it out of my grasp and turned on me.
What do you want? What were you doing out there? Were you spying on me?
Are you even going to ask me that with a straight face? What have you been doing to me ever since we got back?
I have a valid reason to spy on you.
You and a teacher are stalking me. You're recording me at night. I think I have a valid reason to spy on you as well. Do you even know what would happen if I let Mom and Dad in on this?
Then tell them. If you think it'll do any good, tell them. Why not just tell them everything else while you're at it?
Are you insane? He grabbed both my arms tightly.
Don't say that to me! Don't you dare say that to me!
Then stop acting like it. What you're doing now, the things you're on about with Grant Mitchell, do you think any of that is normal?
You're going to lecture me about what's normal. You are!
He shoved me away from him and whirled around, retreating. I ran after him and grabbed his arm to stop him. You don't get to just walk away from this, Spencer! He slapped my hand away, jerking back.
Don't touch me!
Stop acting like I'm diseased. I'm your sister.
You're not my sister!
Something snapped when he shouted that at me. I was just so tired of hearing him say that. Ooh, deserved. I slapped him. Hard. Do you think you're the only one suffering? Do you think you're the only one who isn't happy with any of this? I grabbed the front of his shirt, holding him in place so he couldn't run away from me this time. I gripped it tightly, fighting back tears. I hate this. I hate you. You always make everything harder. Do you think I like any of this? Do you even know what it's like to be the only one trying?
Am I supposed to feel sorry for you? You have no idea what I've been through.
Do you have any idea what I've been through? I drew my hand back to slap him again, but someone caught it before I could follow through.
Hey now. Nora, come on. You don't want to do this.
Yeah, sorry. I kind of got, I was gonna come and I got distracted, brother, psychologist drama. I was coming to apologize. Thanks for saving me. I stiffened the instant I heard Elliot's voice. I didn't know where he'd come from. In fact, when I looked up, I realized that quite a crowd of students had gathered at one end of the hall and were watching my little spat with Spencer. Good job, us. Damn it. And why does Elliot always have to see me when I'm like this? All that pent-up rage flowed out of me, leaving me feeling drained and just weary. I released Spencer and stepped away from him. This is stupid. I'm tired of fighting with you. If you think what you're doing is going to solve anything, then keep at it. Just do it where I can't see it, and stay the hell out of my way. I grabbed Elliot's arm and started to pull him away, trying to avoid looking at any of the other students who had gathered to watch. I need to get my stuff from the club. Will you come with me?
Well, I
looked at him cautiously. Please?
Of course I will. Come on.
He glared at everyone watching. Thank you.
Don't you all have something better to do?
No one budged, but Elliot wrapped an arm around me and steered me through the crowd. As we made our way to the stairs, we saw 2 teachers heading our direction, so we picked up the pace and hurried up toward the 4th floor. At least now I had the chance to talk to him. Elliot, I was looking for you earlier. Where were you? Did you turn into spiders? Look, I know you heard what I told Allie. I just wanted to...
I'm sorry.
What?
I knew you were dealing with a lot. I shouldn't have pressured you.
No, that isn't...
I should have been more considerate. You don't have to feel bad for talking to Allie. I mean, that's normal. It's normal to talk to friends. When you didn't show up to lunch, I had wondered if maybe you were avoiding me. I didn't want that.
I'm not avoiding you.
I'm sorry I was eavesdropping.
You don't have to apologize for that, or anything.
And I'm sorry for stressing you out. Look, I know I said I'd like an answer, but just... You don't have to. Don't worry about it, okay?
It's not that I don't want to give you an answer. I just need some time.
I understand. I'll see you later.
He left me standing there feeling awful. He wasn't mad. That was probably the worst part. If he'd gotten angry, I wouldn't feel bad about it. He just looked so disappointed. I grabbed his hand and pulled him back toward me before he could get away. Elliot. Elliot tried to gently remove my hand, but I gripped his fingers tightly. Right now, I'm not even sure I know who I am anymore. I don't know how I can return someone's feelings when I don't even know if I'm me. He reached toward me, but his hand stopped midway. I thought he'd pull it back, but he slowly reached up and swiffed my hair to the side.
Nora, I don't know what kind of revelation you've had or what you figured out, but you're you. That won't change, no matter what you learn about yourself.
I wish I could believe that.
If you can't, you know, if you don't feel the same way about me, it's okay. I mean, as much as I want to be with you, more than anything, I want to be your friend, okay?
Elliot, you're way too nice. For a cannibal, I mean. Definitely way too nice for someone like me. He didn't smile at the usual joke. I'm such a horrible person. I'm really sorry about what I said to Allie.
You were just saying how you feel. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, listen to me! You didn't do anything wrong. It's not your timing that's off, it's everything else. And I wasn't... I mean... Look. It's not like I wasn't happy to hear that you like me.
Really? You were?
I was! I definitely was. That's why I don't want to give you some reactionary answer. I want to just put my thoughts together and answer you properly. Can you give me until Monday? If you haven't decided I'm not worth the trouble by then, I want to talk about this. Okay?
I won't decide that. And yes, I can wait until then.
Thank you. He started away, but I caught his hand again. Can we still meet tomorrow? For lunch?
Yeah. I'd like that.
Okay, good. And thank you for listening to me and for just... Thank you. He smiled slightly.
Okay.
He gave my hand a squeeze and went back downstairs. When he was gone, I sank to the floor, gripping my head. Oh man, I was an idiot. Between juggling my idiot brother and my whatever Elliot was, I was doing a lousy job. Now I had to get through the rest of the day somehow. I was so glad tomorrow was the weekend. I took a long, slow breath. So, that happened. And now, I really needed to find Allie. I had kind of a lot to report, but I didn't get a chance because the bell was ringing and lunch was over. Ugh. It was going to have to wait until after class. And that meant it was going to be a long afternoon. Long enough for me to think about all the things I was going to have to come clean on now. Because the Spencer and Grant issue was tied into me sleepwalking, and that was tied into Elliot and Mark's quest to prove their innocence. Allie is definitely going to kill me. I wasn't looking forward to our talk one bit, and I had all afternoon to spend dreading it. Great.
I can't believe you're just now telling me all this.
I winced as she raised her voice a few decibels.
Well, I knew she'd be upset.
I'm sorry,
Do you even know how serious this is?
I don't know, actually. I mean, sort of, but not really. Sorry, Allie. I've been let out of the loop on a lot of the details, and to be honest, I've kind of been more concerned about my own issues lately.
Your own issues are what I'm talking about. Do you know how dangerous it is for you to be going outside at night? Especially now.
Well, I do kind of grasp the severity, yeah.
I can't believe you kept this from me. Oh my god, I want to strangle you right now. You and your brother.
Spencer first. She glared at me, then huffed a frustrated sigh, staring ahead. I'm sorry. Look, part of the reason I didn't tell you was because of Elliot and Mark. I wasn't sure I could bring up my issue without, kind of exposing them. I know they're trying to prove the innocence of vampires everywhere or whatever, and I promised I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, well, they're at the top of the strangling list. The idea that they put that burden on you just... You should not have to cover for them!
They're just looking for the culprit since the agency shut them both out of things.
What they're doing makes them look like they are the culprits. They know what they're doing looks suspicious as hell. That's why they're running around in the dark doing it.
You know they don't have bad intentions.
Look, I don't think either one is a freaking murderer, but they don't have to be doing it themselves to be accessories.
You think they're trying to find the real criminal so they can cover it up or something?
Believe me when I say it's a huge possibility.
I mean, I had considered that. I wouldn't put it past Mark, to be honest. I mean, if he thought the truth would damage the vampire community. But Elliot
is also a vampire, Nora. He's not a saint. And he is so desperate to prove himself to the greater vampire community, he'd probably go along with anything Mark suggested if he thought it would help him do it.
I think they're just trying to help.
Probably. I hope so, because they'd be in deep trouble if they were doing anything else out there. They'll be in big trouble anyway if they get caught.
I'm more worried about Grant and Spencer, to be honest.
Well, don't worry too much about Grant. He's definitely on a crusade to expose the supernatural, but Velos keeps a close watch on him.
I was wondering why he didn't seem all that bothered by the idea I might have listened in with the intent to tell others about him.
Grant knows memory seals don't work on him, and so far the agency hasn't taken to assassinating people to shut them up.
So Velos can't erase his memory?
Nope. Back a few years ago when his brother was murdered, they erased his memory of it, but sometimes the seals just don't take, or they erode too quickly. I mean, most seals weaken over time, but sometimes people can break them on their own.
Hold on, can we just back up to the part where his brother was murdered? Can I get some context on this, please? Murdered by what?
Often, when that happens, the person ends up sort of naturally resistant to new seals.
So his brother was murdered by a member of the paranormal community? Wonder how she found that out.
Yeah, I don't have all the details. But I guess he's been on a crusade since then.
And he found a kindred spirit in Spencer.
Truly an unholy union.
Maybe we should just try to throw some of those little wafers at them. And holy water. She just laughed quietly.
Look, for me, the most important thing is figuring out the sleepwalking issue. And finding a way to keep you from going out at night. The former may take some time, but the latter is something we might be able to figure out sooner. And we definitely should do it sooner rather than later, for your safety and the safety of your idiot.
I like how he's not idiot brother at the moment, just idiot.
Well, I'm mad at him right now. And you too, by the way.
I get it. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. I just wasn't sure how to do it without also telling you about Mark and Elliot. Are you going to tell Velos about them?
Not yet.
I was so relieved to hear that. I did not want to be the reason they got into trouble. Hey, they're the reason they're getting into trouble. This is not on you.
I also want to believe they're just trying to help.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't thank me yet. Save it for after I'm done strangling each and every one of you. Look, it's not like members of the club haven't pulled stupid crap like this before.
She gave me a sheepish look.
And that includes me. Secrets go hand in hand with everything we do. And none of us agrees completely with how the agency handles things sometimes. But man, now I get why it pisses Velos off so much when he catches us.
Oh no. Sympathizing with Velos? You're doomed.
Very funny.
She pulled into my driveway.
Nora, listen to me, okay? I know what it's like to find yourself in the middle of all this and to want to just curl up somewhere and come to terms with everything on your own. To be afraid to rely on others because all of it is new and scary and you don't know who or what to trust. I also know that doing that can get you killed. Please don't hide something like this from me again. Please.
I'm sorry. I didn't... I stopped, not wanting to make another excuse. I won't, okay?
Good. I'm going to get on this sleepwalking thing too, because we can't let that continue to go on. I don't care if Elliot thinks he can keep an eye on you and protect you. We have to put a stop to it fast. In the meantime, until I come up with something, please be careful.
I will.
And I'll figure out what to do about Spencer, too.
I bit my lip, holding back a sigh. This was why I'd been hesitant to tell her. She had all her work with the agency, and now she was solving my problems too. Damn it. I knew she was happy to do it, but I hated putting that pressure on her. It's going to be fine. I'm going to be fine, okay?
I'm going to make sure of it.
I wasn't wholly happy about that as I got out of the car and headed inside. I didn't want her to have to worry about this. Allie pulled away and I lingered outside for a split second before finally heading into the house. I knew I was in trouble when I immediately heard Mom.
Do you know how long it's been since I've had to get a call from the school? And to top it off, today was because you were fighting with your sister. Physically fighting.
I shut the door quietly and tried to quietly sneak upstairs.
Nora, Lewis, kitchen, now!
Dang it, how does she always know?
I trudged to the kitchen, already bracing myself.
Nora, I am so glad you could join us. Have a seat.
I'd rather... Never mind. I sat obediently, drumming my fingers on my knees. Spencer was already slouched down in a chair at the kitchen table, sulking like his life depended on it. He shot me a cautious look. Temporary allies? Probably too much to ask. Yeah, I bet you're wondering if I'm going to mention your stalking, jerk.
Nora, I heard you slapped your brother.
Yeah? And? Yeah, but I slapped him because...
But I don't want to hear it. How could you slap your brother?
With my hand.
Nora Lewis!
Sorry! I'm sorry. I shot Spencer another look. I've been patient for a really long time, Mom. No matter how nasty, suspicious, or hateful he's been, patience has limits.
What on earth could he have done to make you slap him?
Yeah, what could you have done, Spencer? He looked away and said nothing. Mom crossed her arms and glared at us both.
What happened to the two of you? You used to get along so well. You shared a womb.
Spencer and I both let out quiet groans. How do you know we didn't fight in the womb? Not the shared womb defense.
Now, I understand that being back in this town has probably awakened some old tensions. But so help me, the two of you are going to stop fighting over this, or I will ground you both until after graduation.
This is my life now. Getting yelled at between fighting with Spencer and freaking out that I'm a fairy equivalent of a pod person.
I want you both to go upstairs and think this over. And by dinner, I want you to be getting along again. If I hear one peep of an argument out of you, I will force you to kiss and make up.
Ew.
Not a peep.
Make them wear the get-along shirt. She glared at us both until we retreated to our rooms. Spencer and I didn't say a word to each other. My phone chimed right as I flopped on my bed. With an exhausted groan, I dug it out of my bag. It was a text from Elliot.
Just wanted to make sure you're okay. Danny heard yelling.
Danny, nothing is safe from you! Danny and his crazy ears. Oh, lol. Mom was a bit mad. She threatened to have us kiss and make up.
Sounds pretty dire. Lol.
That's what I said.
All okay, though?
More or less. Thanks for checking.
Be careful tonight.
I know. I tossed my phone on the bedside table and dragged a pillow over my face with a groan. Today sucked. But if anything, it showed me I couldn't just sit around or wait for things to work themselves out. I didn't feel I'd been doing that in the first place, but Spencer's attitude definitely put some pressure on to get this stuff resolved. I stood up and went to my closet. First thing first, I needed to prepare for tonight. I rummaged around and found a pair of ballet flats I almost never wore. It wouldn't be comfortable, but I intended to start wearing them to bed until there was a solution for the sleepwalking. Finally. My feet couldn't take much more frolicking in the freezing underbrush. The flats wouldn't offer much protection, but it was better than nothing. And I was worried wearing something heavier might wake up Mom and Dad if I did sleepwalk again. Maybe I should set my phone alarm to go off around midnight. I seem to wake up outside sometime after that. That would maybe work. Or I could try to pull an all-nighter. I still had time to work something out, but I was definitely not going to just sit around and wait to waltz out of the house while being recorded again. Not if I could help it.